Cavaliers with Detroit, Coach Chuck Daly elevated his bad boy Pistons to 9 straight playoffs and back-to-back titles. Last year in Barcelona, he subtly guided a star-studded dream team to Olympic gold. Now in New Jersey, his intensity, passion, knowledge, and experience has molded this ragtag injured Nets squad, and they are only one game away from eliminating the third-best team in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. A Game 2 playoff victory in Cleveland tied the series. Then this Meadowlands maestro with 3 key players on the bench orchestrated a dominating demolition of last year's Eastern Conference finalist in Game 4, unexpectedly sending the series to the limit, leaving the Cavs stunned at the change in momentum and questioning their Cavalier attitude. While Chuck Daly looks for nothing but Nets, today only one of these teams will advance.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1993 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the New Jersey Nets versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
They expect a crowd in the area of 18,000. They are short of a sellout here at the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, for the 5th and deciding game between the Nets and the Cavaliers, and we welcome you to the start of our triple-header playoff coverage. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. And, Mike, if you put the Nets on truth serum to a man, they would admit that they are very surprised to be here at this stage, tied at 2 apiece in the 5th and deciding game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, with a chance to pull off an enormous upset. Now, the main reason they're here, the sensational all-around play of their third-year power forward, Derek Coleman.
Mark, they say you need a superstar if you're going to make it to an NBA championship, and the Nets have theirs in Derek Coleman, a player who did not play in the All-Star game this year, yet many feel right now he's playing the best of all the power forwards. You look back at his regular season, quite impressive. But in 5 categories, he has raised it up to another level in this playoff series. So he is carrying the Nets on his shoulders, and one guy can do it in a short series.
And basketball fans here in Cleveland are rather upset with the play of the Cavaliers, who have shown a host of deficiencies in this series.
When you prepare for the Cavaliers, you know that they're going to score points against you because they lead the NBA in 3 categories: shooting the basketball, the free throw line, and 3-point field goal shooting. However, as the series has gone on, the Nets defense has dug in and cut down on the point productivity of the Cavalier team. You look for statistics, forget that. Look at the 3 main guys for this team: Brad Daugherty, Nance, and Price. All 3 are down in their point productivity. With Nance and Price, it's simply a fact that they're not getting the same number of shot opportunities.
And this is a Nets team that has been hard hit by injuries. The Cavaliers are still hurting. For a full report, here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marv, at this point in the season, injuries are inevitable, and boy, do I have a list. For the Cavaliers, Mark Price has a torn tendon in his thumb. Larry Nance has got a broken index finger. It's not on his shooting hand, but he'll also play. Brad Daugherty has tendonitis in the knee. As far as the Nets are concerned, Chris Morris has that sore hip. Petro has the sore left knee, and Ramil Robinson has turf toe along with a sore thumb. I also talked with Derek Coleman before the game. He said he's got back spasms in the back. His back is tight, but by the time they throw it up, he'll be ready to play. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, and coming up, the 5th and deciding game between the Nets and the Cavaliers. Well, as always, the Coliseum is rocking as the starting lineups are being introduced to the crowd. And the Nets will open up with Drazen Petrovic and Ramil Robinson in the backcourt. Derek Coleman, who has had a terrific series up front with Chris Morris. And the starting center in his 12th NBA season, 34-year-old Rick Mahorn. We will also see much of Dwayne Shensis. So there's Chuck Daly, a man who's had quite a run. He won 2 championships with Detroit and then guided the dream team to the gold in Barcelona. Here are the Cavaliers, Craig Elo and Mark Price, who has been struggling. Open up in the backcourt. Larry Nance, also bothered by an injury. And Mike Sanders up front. Nance playing with a broken left index finger. And Brad Daugherty, who has made it back from an injured knee. He's had tendonitis in that left knee. Lenny Wilkins, the coach of the Cavaliers, number 2 on the all-time NBA coaching list, behind a fellow by the name of Arnold Red Auerbach. And in this opening round of surprises, check out these numbers. The visiting teams in the playoffs this season have won 14 and lost 19. That is a very impressive stat. Look at last season, 21 and 52. They managed to win only 28% of the time.
Well, you really have to search to come up with answers for that. The preparation time, the rest factor, but why such a high percentage this early? Perhaps it's the balance in the teams ultimately.
Mike Mathis, Hugh Evans, and Ed F. Rush are the officials. Very supportive crowd despite the pounding that the Cavaliers have taken on radio talk shows and the local newspapers. As the Nets control the tip, this is Romeo Robinson, picked up on a switch, then gets it over to Derek Coleman, who shoots over Nance. Rebound handled by Morris.
One thing that the Nets will try to do is control tempo this afternoon. They came out in game 1 and tried to run and establish an up-tempo. It was not to their advantage.
The block by Daugherty, and the Cavaliers to the offense for the first time. Elo for 3. Rebounded by Mahorn, and that outlet pass went astray. Rick Mahorn tried to unload for Romeo Robinson.
One of the strengths of this Cavalier defense all year has been their ability to change or block shots. Brad Daugherty, not what you would consider a big-time shot blocker, gets his share right there.
Cavaliers calling out a play. Petrovic on Elo. Here's Daugherty backing Mahorn. And Mahorn with the rebound. Rick Mahorn has had a bout with the flu over the last week. Says he's feeling much better. Not expected that Rick Mahorn would be the starting center, but the injuries to Sam Bowie and Chris Dudley have put the Nets in this position with Dwayne Shensis coming off the bench to spell Mahorn. That's a 3-pointer for Chris Morris.
Mark, you can say what you want about Derek Coleman being the main guy for the New Jersey Nets, but to me, if they are to win today, Chris Morris has to step up and have a big game. When he plays well and performs on a regular basis and gets them numbers, they win a lot of basketball games.
Good play by Morris to knock it away, leading to this. Robinson was fouled. Fouled by Elo. Yes, Chris Morris Friday night in that stunning Nets victory in Game 4 had a 9 for 12 for 22 points, along with 10 rebounds and 4 steals.
You just don't know which nights Chris Morris is going to show up and play. Some nights he's out there, plays as well as any All-Star does. Other games, it seems like he's on vacation. If he understood the importance and the contributions he makes to this team, and they play at a different level, it'd be a completely different story.
Well, there is the feeling that Chuck Daly did reach Chris Morris a bit more this year because he was playing well and then had a bout with the flu. And then his quality of play did drop back down, and it has raised here in the playoffs. Elo. Cavaliers with their first basket. The Nets lead 5-2.
And one thing Lenny Wilkins stressed to this team in practice yesterday was they must execute their offense, patience, pass the basketball, try and get your shots as a result of the offensive flow and movement. When you have a big man like a Brad Daugherty that can pass the basketball as well as he can, you can run little backdoor plays and get easy scores like Elo did.
Brad Daugherty was called for that foul. Mahorn handles the inbound. This is Morris, played up tight by Sanders. Mike Sanders, a very strong defensive player. Morris isolated and fires. That's a bad shot.
Yeah, I mean, you pound it, you pound it, you pound it, you pound it, you back them down, and then you turn around and you shoot a 22-foot fadeaway. Not a good shot.
Doherty saw the opening. Nets 5, and the Cavaliers 4. This a net team that went 43 and 39, and Petrovic is called for the push-out.
The pressure of Craig Elo, who during the course of the year got a pretty tough job guarding the two men in the NBA. Michael Jordan, one of his main adversaries, Drazen Petrovic, I would think a little bit easier to guard.
Nice move by Nance, switching hands in midair. That pass picked off by Sanders. Here's Price for Nance. Yes. A good run by Cleveland. They now lead 8-5. They've scored 8 consecutive.
I was mentioning that Lenny Wilkins had a couple things he emphasized yesterday. One was to get back in transition defense, too many 3-on-2s for the Nets. The other was to get shots for Larry Nance in the flow of the offense, not just post them up in isolations. Transition basketball, well, that's one way of producing easy shots. The other, his ability to put it on the floor and take it to the basket.
Cavaliers have come out very aggressively. Derek Coleman ends the 8-0 run. And the Cavaliers with an 8-7 lead. As I started to say, the Nets 43-39 in the regular season. They struggled with key injuries down the stretch. Lost 10 of the last 11. Which is why their performance in this series has been a major surprise, in particular when you consider the Cavaliers finished the season winning 11 of their last 12. Pushing foul called on Petrovic, so that's a quick 2 on Petrovic, and he will sit down. Raphael Addison, third-year player from Syracuse, has checked in.
Petrovic had produced a lot of easy points for New Jersey because he loves to run out when the opponent is taking jump shots. He leaves right away. It was causing Elo to pay attention and match up with him. He's out of the game right now.
Foul on Mahorn, and Sanders will go to the line.
A much more aggressive attitude early in the game by the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were accused of being very passive in game number 4. You've already seen Nance take it to the basket strong, Doherty take it to the basket, and now they're small forward.
Sanders a 76% free throw shooter. Mike Sanders missed 29 games this past regular season after undergoing arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. Very important player in the mix. They suffered when he was out of the lineup.
You need pieces to make up the total picture. He is one of those pieces that will dig in defensively, do a good job, can make the 17-foot jump on a regular basis when he's left open, and doesn't need a lot of plays run for him. He understands his role. He understands that there's Nance and Doherty and Price and Williams that all can get points along with Wilkins off the bench. So happy to just fit in and do his job.
And when Sanders is in the starting lineup, it makes the contributions off the bench of Hot Rod Williams and Danny Ferry more significant. 4 minutes have gone by in this first quarter. Morris passing on a 3 and hitting the 2. Cavaliers 10, the Nets 9.
Good decision that time. Morris saw that Larry Nance was running at him hard, a little ball fake, improved the position with one dribble, and then get a wide open jumper.
Sanders given room. Coleman handles the ball so well when you consider he goes 6'10", 230 pounds, and he is the power forward. Addison with the shot. And it's rebounded by Doherty. The foul call. It's on Morris.
That's his first team third.
Chris Morris, one of the better leapers, jumpers in the NBA, goes after it, but a little bit too much body contact that time as Doherty had possession.
Cavaliers 10, the Nets 9. Doherty getting position and is called for steps. He backed in and he traveled.
The Nets will try to mix up how they play Brad Doherty. They like to start out normally straight up, no double teams, stay at home with the perimeter shooters. Occasionally they'll drop down, they'll surround them, and then go late on the dribble. That time an early double team by 2 big men, Morris and Mahorn.
And this call away from the ball.
3 seconds.
It's a 3-second violation. So the Cavaliers get it back. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the first team to lead the NBA in all 3 shooting categories. Field goal percentage, free throw shooting, 3-point accuracy. And a foul is called as Robinson tried to strip Sanders. Timeout is called with 6:55 remaining. First quarter. As we mentioned right at the start, even the New Jersey Nets are surprised to be here in a 5th and deciding game against the Cavaliers. We talked about that with Nets coach Chuck Daly.
It's such a big surprise. I had to go to the cleaner and get a coat pressed yesterday, and that's no lie because I didn't anticipate coming on this trip. This club is a very, very good club. I think they've been lulled to sleep a little bit by our injuries, and but when you've got a franchise player, which I call Derek Coleman, you know, in a game, anything can happen. He gets 9 blocks in one game. Phenomenal. And you got to be frightened of a guy like that.
You hire a Chuck Daly because of what he's accomplished in the NBA, because of the fact that the man has been a winner all along. But in the Nets case, one of the primary things they did was bring a guy in that they felt could get to a Derek Coleman. One of Chuck's first things when he got the job was to fly and meet with Derek Coleman and explain to him just how important he was going to be to this Nets organization.
You know, Mike, people also forget that Chuck is a one-time head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, perhaps a 93-day stint that he'd like to forget about previous management, hired by then Cavaliers owner Ted Stepien, who had a colorful reign here in Cleveland. Daly was fired after 93 days and a record of 9-32, did not have the personnel to work with. Ramil Robinson cuts it to a 1-point Cavalier lead.
But Chuck still talks about that as being, you know, that first opportunity in the NBA, something new. You move over to the other seat instead of being an assistant. And he said the thing he remembers most, the people in Cleveland, that they were great fans.
Nice move on the recovery. Addison hits the reverse, and the Nets lead by 1. As Chuck Daly had been a long-time assistant in Philadelphia after success as a head coach on the college level. Nice play by Addison. Robinson with the move on Price, and a blocking foul. It's on Price.
There again, one of the things that Lenny Wilkins mentioned prior to the game, we have to get back in transition defense. The Nets caught us too many times, outnumbered 3-on-2. Price trying to pick up the offensive foul, instead is called for a block. Now, in the last time out, Ahmad overheard Lenny Wilkins telling the team that we must get Mark Price involved in the offense more. I talked to Mark Price prior to the game, and I asked, are you getting good looks at the basket, or is it just that you're not getting enough shots? He said, I have not had a lot of clean opportunities. They're doing a pretty good job. They're paying attention. The other thing, his thumb is really bothering him.
Price in game 3, 2 of 12. Game 4 Friday night, only 5 of 14. And he has been struggling with his shooting. He sprained the thumb back in early March in a game against the Seattle Supersonics. With Mahorn talking to Brad Daugherty. Here's Sanders firing. Recovered by Nance. Air ball. Ramil Robinson moving back. Robinson with a gorgeous move around Elo, but it would not fall. Price for the fadeaway, and he is pushed. So Price, no, let's see, they changed the call. Offensive foul. It's on Price. That's his second.
Scorers, players that get points, will do anything to break his stride. That time he tries to draw the contact. He leans in with that right shoulder. An unusual call at that part of the floor. Of course, angle is everything in making those types of calls, but there's the official on the baseline who got a real good look at it.
So 2 early fouls on Price, 2 early fouls on Petrovic, who sat down after picking up his second. And a new backcourt for the Cavaliers. Terrell Brandon and Gerald Wilkins have checked in. Lenny Wilkins going with a A three-guard setup. Craig Elo will move up front to match with Raphael Addison. Illegal defense has been called for the first time.
One adjustment now with Terrell Brandon on the floor for the New Jersey Nets. With Price, they trap wall pick and rolls. With Brandon on the floor, you'll now see the Nets go underneath the screens and try and make Brandon hit jump shots from the perimeter. Not as much respect for the outside shot or range as Mark Price gets.
Coleman played on a switch by Wilkins. The Nets 14 and the Cavaliers 12 with just under 5 minutes remaining. First quarter, fifth and deciding game between the Nets and the Cavaliers. Chicago waiting in the wings. Nash with the jump hook to tie the game at 14.
There's the guy that Lenny Wilkins feels he must get off and get involved in the offense. He'd rather not do it by straight post-ups, but if the end result is going to be 2 points, he'll take it.
Robinson tried to do it off the dribble, but got stripped. The steal by Brandon, and he threw it away. He threw it behind Elo.
You will occasionally see Ramil Robinson make some bad decisions or not handle the ball because he's not a true point guard. He's over in that role now because of the injury to Kenny Anderson, and one of the reasons why Atlanta made the deal of Mookie Blaylock for Ramil Robinson, they felt they needed a point guard who had pass-first mentality, score later.
Nice touch by Rick Mahorn. That's not easy to accomplish. Mike, would you jump up there and knock the ball down?
I was just going to mention the same thing to you. Shooter's touch, well, there it is. That touch landed right on top of the backboard.
Hey, Craig Elo shaking the basket to get it down. You know, back to my days in the schoolyard, Mike.
Oh, my goodness.
We had to use another ball to, when the ball would get stuck, particularly on the rim. Oh, you were leaping after it? Gives it back to Elo.
The defensive player was able to get back to Elo and challenge because it was just a short trot. They really didn't double team Doherty hard. It's a wait and read situation, so when it goes in and comes out, the defense can still get back and challenge the shooter.
3.5 remaining in this first quarter. Nice entry pass throw. Derek Coleman with his second field goal, and the Nets with a 16-14 lead. Played by Coleman. Wilkins try to flash down low, broken up by Morris.
The Nets try to take away the initial pass in by fronting and behind. No respect for the shooter, but then after it goes in, watch how there's no hard double team, just a drop and read situation. Challenge the jump shooter.
A beautiful setup. Tied at 16. Now Mahorn gives an 18-16 lead. Brad Doherty able to hit on that last inbounds play. So the Nets lead by 2. Here's Doherty. And back comes Morris. 3-on-2. Wilkins with the rebound. Ties the game at 18.
We've seen New Jersey have at least 3 transition opportunities with wide open shots at the basket. They have not converted.
All right, while we were away, a look at that inbounds play. Here's Wilkins behind the back, Brandon, and then Doherty able to put it down. Timeout is called. 18. Cavaliers have had major problems in this series, and you can see why as their normal production has dipped in the playoffs.
Whether you credit the fact that New Jersey has dug in and played very good defense against them, or the fact that you have a couple guys who are injured and banged up out there that aren't shooting the ball and scoring as well. Larry Nance, Mark Price is an example. The fact remains they are having a difficult time scoring points off an offense that normally is most difficult to stop.
Wayne Shensis and Maurice Cheeks have checked in for the first time. Addison not able to hit the three-pointer. John Hot Rod Williams now up front with Brad Dougherty and Larry Nance. Terrell Brandon and Gerald Wilkins in the backcourt. Brandon played well by Cheeks. Shot clock at 7. Williams. And Coleman getting the good position on Nance.
Talking to Chuck Daly, he said Maurice Cheeks in Game 4 was vintage Maurice Cheeks. 5 out of 7 from the floor, just gave him valuable minutes. Great decision maker, and he knocked out the big open jump shots when he had to.
Addison with another nice move. Raphael Addison off the bench. He's played well. Originally a second-round pick of Phoenix out of Syracuse. Played in Italy for 3 years, then signed with the Nets as a free agent. He's been a spot starter. Wilkins coming up short. And here comes Cheeks. 1 minute remaining, first quarter. The Nets with the ball, lead by 2. Shensis does it again. Wayne Shensis played 25 minutes on Friday night, hit 5 out of 8 for 10 points. In his 4th year out of the University of Florida, originally a first-round pick of San Antonio. In 1990, spent a year with the Spurs, one with Sacramento, dealt for Antoine Carr, and then signed him as a free agent this season. An injury hit year, played only 5 regular season games, and Mike, he's made it back from lower back surgery.
Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but right now, as Derek Coleman said, we have nothing to lose. We're going to be loose and easy and just go out there and have fun. That's the way it looks right now with New Jersey.
Here's Brandon. The Nets lead 20-20, half minute to go in this opening quarter. 36-year-old Maurice Cheeks handling against Terrell Brandon and sets up Derek Coleman. Yes. The Nets by 4. 17 seconds left in this opening quarter.
Derek Coleman shooting almost 55% in these 4 games against Cleveland. And leading this Nets team 2 for 3 last game from the three-point line, so he's got it all going right now, inside and out.
Here's Brandon. Time running out, first quarter. So a solid first quarter for the upset-minded New Jersey Nets. They lead the Cavaliers 24-20. Derek Coleman with a 3 for 6 start for 6 points. We'll be back after these messages.
Welcome to Richfield Coliseum. I'm Ahmad Rashad along with Willis Reed. And first of all, Willis and I would both like to wish both of our wives Happy Mother's Day. Now, Willis, Chuck Daly has said that he was surprised that the team would be involved in a game this late in the season. Have they surprised you?
They have. I mean, they've shown a great amount of resiliency. I think it's partly because of Chuck Daly. I think it's because of the will of a Ricky Mahorn, Derek Coleman, Drazen Petrovic, and also Chris Morris. I think we got some tough guys.
While everybody questioned this team when I was in the locker room before the game, they didn't seem surprised that they were here. They seemed very confident.
Well, I think it's important to be a pro player. You've been there, you know that. I think right now we're 36 minutes away from being in the second round. If it could happen, we don't know. I think that's when you play the games, because you know anything can happen. We've been very happy with this team.
All right, Willis, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Marv.
All right, and yesterday, the 23rd anniversary of that Knick championship victory over the Los Angeles Lakers that was inspired by Willis Reed, as Coleman is able to tip it home to get the second quarter underway, and the Nets now lead 26-20. Willis Reed limping out of the court, hitting those 2 early jump shots, and the Knicks went on to beat the Lakers in the 7th and final game back in the 69-70 season. What is your one-time assistant coach with the Atlanta Hawks? Vaughn Williams with a nice move.
The greatest years when I was coaching in Atlanta, when Willis Reed was part of that staff, along with Brendan Sir, now Chuck Daly's assistant coach, did a wonderful job working with the big people, really helping in developing Kevin Willis.
Coleman backing up. That time forced the shot on the double team. Now Doherty puts the move on Shinsis, and the foul is called. So Shinsis called for his first. Apparently that tip in a moment ago was credited to Chris Morris. So Morris has 7 points. And Brad Doherty to the line.
Morris, one of those weak side, offside rebounders who, if you don't pay attention to, because of his tremendous jumping ability, will come flying in, and as he did that last time down, tipped it in for New Jersey.
Doherty hanging in despite the tendonitis in his left knee. Missed a couple of games at the end of the season, but he is playing hurt. Nets by 2. Nance jumping out on a switch, and a foul called. It's on Nance.
You know, Mark Lamont spoke with Willis Reed a few moments ago, and you need to give some credit to both Willis and Chuck Daly. They added 2 very important pieces to what they saw as a talented but young and immature basketball team. They brought in Rick Mahorn and Maurice Cheeks, 2 most valuable players, both who were on NBA championship teams in the past, so they understand what it takes to win.
Here's Morris. Rick Mahorn looked on the floor the other day, saw Cheeks out there, Bernard King himself said this looks like a Legends game. But the veterans have helped, particularly with all the injuries that have cut the Nets down at the end of the year. Doherty has tied the game at 26. He now has 10 points.
A great example of the unselfish play that the Cavalier team has used the entire season, the willingness to give it up to the next guy for a better shot.
6-0 run by Cleveland. Morris. And Doherty to the rebound. Brandon with the hesitation dribble. Rejected by Coleman. They both go down. Appear to be all right.
Now, on most teams, when you get a player at 6'10", that makes him strong move to the lane, he's going to shoot this shot, but not Larry Nance. He sees his teammate, Doherty, is wide open, more than willing to give it up. And when you talk about team defense, you get your 6'10" power forward, hustle him back, it saves 2 easy points. Terrell Brandon lands on that right ankle awkwardly and turns it a little bit. He gets up, limps off as they go to the timeout, met with his trainer. However, he is okay and will return to the game.
And the Nets have certainly been hard hit by injuries throughout the season. An impressive array of injured players traveling with the club. Sam Bowie and Chris Dudley and Kenny Anderson all on the Nets bench out of action. Shot clock down to 7. Here's Brandon. Cavaliers lead by 2.
That's the one player that the Nets were counting on would have to prove he can make outside shots. He's hit 2 big jumpers for Cleveland.
8-0 run by the Cavaliers. Shinsis. Dwayne Shinsis again. That is his 2nd field goal. And the game is tied at 28.
I asked Chuck Daly when he first signed Dwayne, were you nervous at all taking a chance? He said, well, I was until I saw the first commitment. He was willing to cut his hair when he came into the office to have a meeting. I felt then that he was ready to take the next step in maturity.
Nets and Cavaliers tied at 28 with 8.5 remaining in the first half. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from the Coliseum in Richfield. Shinsis backs up, and that time came up short. Mark Price sitting down after picking up his 2nd foul. Last touch by Shinsis. And Razin Petrovic
17 seconds.
went out early after collecting his second foul. Coleman got involved, and a hold is on Coleman. That is his first.
Coleman knew he was in trouble. Hot Rod had him down too deep on the block area, so he wraps those arms around holes down there. You have to meet the player higher so he doesn't get you pinned that low.
Now Nance off the head fake. Sheets over to help. Here's Brandon. Yes. Brandon has connected on 3 of 3. The Cavaliers 30, the Nets 28.
One thing Lenny Wilkins had hoped he could do would be produce shots through the motion and movement in their offense, but he has had to change and adjust here in the game. He's gone to 3 straight post-ups to try and hurt New Jersey's defense.
Foul on the Cavaliers. Brandon came over to help, and that is his first.
The inside game, the body contact, check those cutters coming across. Don't give them a clear path to that post-up area, the box area, as Coleman works hard down low.
Addison getting much playing time here in the first half. Cheeks in the backcourt. Brandon again over to help. He was looking for the open man. Brandon with the steal. Nance. And Morris, they have got the piece of it.
We talked about the athleticism of it. Chris Morris hustles back, gets the block. If you hold the ball too long down in the post area, those hands are eventually going to get to you and produce the turnover. The great hustle by Morris, and then on the dunk attempt, all basketball.
Mike Mathis blowing the whistle at center court. They've reset the clock. Apparently they had not reset the 24-second clock. That's why he called for the stoppage.
Willis Reed just sat down, stood up to question what was going on himself. A spectator, a fan, but part of the Nets organization. He wants it to be the correct call.
As Willis 3 rows deep right behind the official scorer. And when he stands up, you know it's Willis.
But nobody yelled out, sit down.
Hot Rod Williams. Yes. Cavaliers lead by 4. It's their biggest lead of the game. Defense from the crowd with 6:40 remaining. First half. Coleman being played very well. Wilkins over to help. Cheat shoots. Just to beat the 24. Morris with the rebound. Chris Morris getting inside. He has 9. The Cavaliers now lead by 2.
It's easy to see that everything from Jersey is coming on the inside. The absence of Razin Petrovic, they need him out there to extend that Cavalier defense. Right now, it's a very aggressive Cleveland defense.
Here is Wilkins. Rebounded by Nance. And the Cavaliers regroup. Williams from Doherty. The Cavs 34, the Nets 30.
This is the front line that Chuck Daly feared would hurt them. The big front line of Nance, Williams, and Doherty.
The Nets call for time with 5:45 left in this first half. Mark Price with 2 early fouls has played only 6.5 minutes in this first half. Razin Petrovic has played only 4 minutes after collecting 2 early fouls. And here comes Petrovic. As you see, New Jersey 0 for 4 from the perimeter, as you were mentioning.
Petrovic, 3rd best in the NBA at shooting it from behind the three-point line, a 45% three-point shooter. And during the regular season, a 52% field goal shooter. In the playoffs, just 46 and just 40 from the three-point line. But they need him to extend the defense.
And he was able to get the pass to Coleman, a dangerous pass, but it got through the Cavaliers. Razin Petrovic, coming off a knee injury, is still not himself in terms of his mobility. Out of 5:20 to go. in this first half. And the Cavaliers lead 34-32. Make it a 4-point lead. Nance with 8 points.
That's a perfect example of getting the shot as a result of running the offense and staying in what Lenny Wilkins was trying to get him to do. Patience, cutting, screening, ball movement.
Coleman on the recovery. A look away to Shinsis. Rebounded by Nance.
The shot blocking ability of Larry Nance just caused Shinsis to back off a little bit. He didn't take it strong to the basket.
Crowd wants Doherty to go at Coleman and try and pick up a foul. Shot clock at 7 is Brandon. He's able to hit again. He's had the hot hand. Terrell Brandon has connected on 4 of 5.
The foot fake, the escape dribble just gives Brandon enough room to get that jumper off.
And for the first time today, we see the matchup of Gerald Wilkins and Drazen Petrovic, who usually go at each other fiercely. Coleman lost it. Oh, what a pass from Brandon. And Doherty is called for steps. He thought he was fouled. It's a traveling violation.
Petro, known as a shooter, takes a turn at getting an assist, fires it, just gets it through the Cavaliers' hands for the assist to his big man. And then a no-looker. Unfortunately, the travel takes place first, so no free throw opportunities for Doherty.
Bill Robinson is back. Robinson and Petrovic now to go. Another unbelievable shot by Chris Morris. Incredible shot selection by Morris. Wilkins, yes. Gerald Wilkins going glass. And the Cavaliers lead 40-32.
Derek Coleman, Chris Morris have to watch out that they don't try to do it all themselves. Get the other players involved. You're drawing special attention. You have to realize that.
Coleman. And back come the Cavaliers looking to bust it open. They've outscored the Nets 20-6, so they are in the midst of a good run.
You said it after Morris's shot. Too many quick perimeter shots right now for New Jersey. Patience, get it low, double team, kick out to the open shooters.
Robinson looking for the pick. Coleman with the post up and fouled by Williams. Hot Rod Williams trying to establish position, called for the block. That's his first timeout is taken. Just under 3 minutes left in the half.
Profile the rookie center of the Hornets, Alonzo Mourning. He'll be going against one of his mentors, fellow Georgetown alum Patrick Ewing. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But right now, back to the Richfield Coliseum, rejoining Marv and the Czar.
All right, Bob, and it has been a good shooting first half for the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the series, only at 45%. In this first half, 17 of 33, 52%, while the Nets have struggled at 4 out of 16 in the second quarter.
When you're shooting 52% like Cleveland is, what it means for New Jersey, not a lot of transition scores coming their way. They've been forced to do it in the half-court offense, which is tough against this big Cavalier defense.
Robinson trying to penetrate. Shinsis on the recovery. That's his third field goal. He has 6. Cavaliers 40, the Nets 34. 2:35 remaining in the first half. Mark Price has been on the bench during this good Cavalier run, picked up the early fouls, but Terrell Brandon has shot very well. Here's Brandon left open. Yes! He is 5 of 6 for 10 points.
And Lenny Wilkins is riding Terrell Brandon. He feels that right now this guy is doing as good a job as you can expect. Price has been struggling. Stay with the hot hand.
Terrell Brandon in his second NBA season out of the University of Oregon. He has 10 points. He and Doherty have a high point left. Chris Morris with 11.
Basket for Chris Morris.
And he's the leading scorer for the Nets, who now trail by 6. New Jersey only 29% from the field in the second quarter after the good shooting first quarter. And you can see the Cavaliers just under 70%. Wilkins against his good friend Petrovic. That's a goaltend. The basket will count. Ever since Gerald Wilkins' days with the New York Knicks, he and Drazen Petrovic have just gone at each other in the trash talk department. As you look at the goaltend called on Shinsis, it's gotten to the point, though, with Gerald Wilkins that it upset the coach, Lenny Wilkins, and he had to pull him out of a couple of games earlier in the series. Lenny feels it distracts Gerald from his game.
Gerald also feels that the notoriety that he's received because of it has caused officials to look at his game a little bit differently, coming down on him with maybe a quicker whistle than they normally would. He thinks the media has taken it and blown it out of proportion.
Mike Mathis over to the scorer's table with an explanation. Apparently Derek Coleman was hit with a technical. Hot Rod Williams called with a personal, and then Derek Coleman called for the tee. Here's the announcement.
First time in the series that Derek Coleman has really lost his composure. Everyone had been writing and talking about how he has basically just gone out and played the game and done his job. It starts down in the low post area, jockeying for position, back and forth, the bump, the shove, and then after the technical foul is called, Chuck not real happy with it.
Cavaliers by 9. As we come up on a minute to go in the half. Robinson recaptures. And Wilkins pushes it down. The lead for Williams. Ron Williams not able to stop. And that was good communication between Wilkins and Williams. Crowd wanted to travel on Petrovic, but it was deflected out by the Cavaliers.
In transition, keep your heads up, lay it out there, let your big men go get it. Hot Rod just can't control it enough to finish off the dunk attempt.
48 seconds left in this first half. Fifth and deciding game between the Nets and the Cavaliers. Morris with the wide open shot. 13 for Chris Morris. Cavs 45, the Nets 38.
It's one of the few times that Jersey has gotten the basket as a result of ball movement. Swing it to the open man, get a wide open shot, don't force it.
Doherty with the jump hook. Coleman with the rebound. 20 seconds left in the half. Nice lead for Emil Robinson, but he blew the layup.
Fourth layup that Jersey has missed in transition here in the first half.
10 seconds to go in the half. Nance pitches back to Doherty. And Brad Doherty works his way inside. 2 and 10 seconds left in the half. Cavaliers lead 47 to 38. Robinson from center court. The Cavaliers here from the home crowd. Chuck Daly's Nets are trailing the Cavaliers by the score of 47 to 38. Chris Morris, high man with 13, 10 apiece for Terrell Brandon and Brad Doherty. Bob Costas coming up with the Prudential halftime report in a moment.
Coliseum, after trailing by 6, the Cavs go on a 22-6 run and now lead 47-38 over the Nets at halftime. Bob Costas back with Bill Walton and Peter Vesey. On our pregame interview with Chuck Daly, we asked him for some X factors. He identified Chris Morris, said he has to come up big. He's kind of a question mark for us. Don't know what we get game to game from him. 13.6 rebounds. Said we got to find a way to stop Price. Price, with a couple of early fouls, has not scored, played just 7 minutes. In fact, didn't even take a shot. But they went on that 22-6 run essentially without him, and Terrell Brandon chipped in with 10, replacing Price. So Daly's analysis of what had to go right for the Nets was on the money.
He's doing his job, but the players are not. Brandon, the depth at the point guard, a big factor there, and Cleveland's ability to run their set offense and feed off the energy of the home crowd is the difference right now.
How about the depth of the Nets guards with Maurice Cheeks? When he was out there and they're winning, all I could think of was deja vu all over again. When he led the Knicks.
Thank you, Yogi.
Thank you. When he led the Knicks to the 5-game win over the Celtics in 1990, breaking a 26-game Boston Celtic winning streak against the Knicks at Boston Garden. I mean, here he was. He's out there doing it again.
All right, time for us to step aside, but when we come back, we'll have a look at the Charlotte Hornets rookie center Alonzo Mourning. That's next after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. The second of our 3 games today will be the opening game of the Knicks-Hornets series. Not surprisingly, the matchup drawing the most attention is at center between a couple of Georgetown guys, Alonzo Mourning and Patrick Ewing. Mourning has shown the same fierce competitiveness that has long been Ewing's trademark. Peter Vesey spent some time this week with the Hornets rookie. Here's Pete's report.
A lot of people sit and dream about being a great player, but are not willing to get off of their butts and do the things that they have to do to acquire that. Alonzo understood what it took to be a good player and then developed the emotions and the strength in order to do that.
Up top to Mourning. 20-footer. Good! 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 The Charlotte Hornets have advanced to round 2.
They didn't think I had the talent. They thought I was clumsy, awkward. They laughed at me, you know, and it was kind of degrading. I think that's how I developed that competitiveness and that work ethic and working hard, because I was out there trying to do better, trying to prove to people that, hey, I can be better, I can do this, you know, and I can accomplish any goal that I put my mind to.
Alonzo Mourning grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia, the product of a broken home. His foster mother, Fanny Threet, is largely responsible for the values he has carried into manhood.
She took me in and she treated me as though I was her son. And then she brought me up through the latter part of my younger years, in my junior high and high school years, and she taught me the things I needed to know about life.
But his education was not complete. At Georgetown, Alonzo was instantly the big man on campus. It was there that he became involved with some negative outside influences.
You know, you had problems early on. There was that talk about you hanging out with some drug people. Just explain what happened there.
I just got involved in the wrong crowd, and I was around the wrong people. And this guy, he had been under surveillance for about 3 years, you know, so anybody that was around him was caught in any type of pictures or anything of that nature. So it was dumbness on my part. I mean, I was dumb, and I didn't know any better, and it was just guilt by association. And I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I think he's had some bad influences in his life who were willing to give him information too, but Alonzo became mature enough to understand that this is right and this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is what I need to go on, and that's a sense of maturity. But I think he's had several people in his life, in high school, several people in college who were very eager to contribute to his life.
A major contributor is today's opponent, Patrick Ewing. He has long been a motivator and role model for Alonzo, as well as serving as an off-season sparring partner.
How intense does it get during the summer between you and Patrick?
It gets very intense.
How intense?
You gotta ask Coach Thompson. You ask Coach Thompson how intense it gets. It gets very intense.
A lot of times Patrick comes around during the summer and he's consistently working out, and Alonzo adjusted his schedule to Patrick, shows his intelligence so that he could learn to play basketball the way Patrick Ewing could play. And I'd hear him out in the gym, and in my office, which is right off of the gymnasium, I would hear this commotion going on a lot of times, and I'd come out and look, and the two of them looked like they were ready to go to blows. They would be arguing and fussing and yelling at one another, and I'd walk out of the gym and tell them that if you guys don't cut that out, I'm going to put you out of here. You got to get out of here. And all of a sudden, intelligent human beings couldn't count to 15. None of them would know if they were being struck by another one. You know, they were getting to a point where I never traveled, and they'd really be ready to go to war. So, you know, it was an extremely competitive thing, even though they have a very affectionate relationship off of the court.
Alonzo, he starts getting mad. He starts foaming at the mouth. He has like a vein, I think it's in his forehead, you know, the vein starts popping up. So, you know, we all, you know, everybody start laughing, teasing him. It's like, you know, calm down, calm down.
You're going to watch the rivalry continue during the next playoff series?
Well, very definitely so. I think that I'm going to look at it. I've contemplated going fishing and coming back home and asking somebody who won. But I've made up my mind that I'm not going to look at the score. I'm just going to watch them. We're not going to keep score at all and just say, let them play and see what happens. But this is Patrick's time. And I saw that if I have to give an edge, I give that edge to Patrick right now because he's at the point of his career and Alonzo's young and got a lot of time.
Nice piece that you and producer Kevin Smolin put together. What's your primary impression of Alonzo Mourning?
The central theme that I came away with is that every time that he faces adversity, he comes back stronger than ever. And I mentioned that to Coach Thompson, and he said what he always preaches to his kids is that it's very difficult to manage success. It's much more easy to manage the adversity that goes on in somebody's life. So we're going to see how Mourning makes out handling the success that he's going through now.
The thrill of basketball has always been the matchups. This is going to be a beautiful matchup here. Interesting that they're both in a challenging position. Mourning trying to challenge to get into the elite group of players in the NBA. Ewing already there, but Ewing challenging for that championship. And I like the fact, too, that Mourning is shorter, because that's the real essence of basketball, is being able to beat the bigger guy.
Tell me real quick, how would you play Ewing and how would you play Mourning?
Ewing, I would force him to his right, coming in on this shoulder as opposed to turning the other way. Mourning, I would make him shoot the ball from the perimeter, plus I'd be able to get him inside because he is shorter, and I'd be able to get something done on the offensive end.
Make him go left. He always goes right, Mourning. Got to make him go left.
You know where we're going? Going to turn right just a little bit because they're signaling frantically to send it back to Richfield for the second half of the Nets and Cavaliers. Cleveland leading it by 9. Marvin Mike will rejoin us after these messages from your local station. See you a bit later in the day.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
With two-time defending NBA champion Chicago awaiting the winner at halftime, the Cavaliers lead the Nets in this fifth and deciding game by the score of 47-38. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and Ahmad is with Nets coach Chuck Daly.
All right, thanks, Marv. Chuck, down by 9 points at halftime. What kind of adjustments do you make?
Well, the most important one is we've got to move the ball. We're holding onto the ball, not swinging the ball. Secondly, we're not getting in our offense quick enough. Our point guards are delaying too much. And you got to get stops, but you can't shoot 39% and the other guy's building and hope to beat him.
How about your transition game on Friday? It was working so well.
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job early. We played it. We're playing really hard. It's a typical fifth game. We just got to get more done offensively.
All right, good luck to you in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, thanks, Ahmad. And you look back at the first half, the Nets, Mike, able to break it open in that second quarter with a 20-6 run, and that gave them the substantial lead.
Well, part of the problem for New Jersey is the big men have taken too much upon themselves to try and do the scoring because I think they feel the outside guys right now are struggling. 3 for 14 when you combine the 4 guards for New Jersey. Last game, those 4 people were 19 for 38, 50% from the floor. A lot of shots, a lot of productivity. It's not there right now from the backcourt in New Jersey.
Yes, Drazen Petrovic picking up some 2 early fouls, as did Mark Price, who did not get much playing time in the first half. A look at the Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. New Jersey 7 of 22 in the second quarter, while Cleveland turned it with that 12 for 19. Terrell Brandon 5 for 6, 10 points off the bench. In the rebounding department, Cleveland with the slight edge. They have been sparked by Brad Dougherty, who has 10 rebounds along with his 10 points. Both teams are back on the floor. We're getting ready for the second half. We'll be back at the Coliseum in Richfield in a moment. It is Cleveland ball as we resume here at the start of play in the third quarter. Mark Price back on the floor. Played only 7 minutes in the first half. Price and Elo in the backcourt. Here's Elo. Rebound Dougherty. And the Nets get to it. Ramil Robinson and Drazen Petrovic in the backcourt. Derek Coleman, Chris Morris, Rick Mahorn up front. Rick Mahorn, the starter at center, over the injury suffered by Sam Bowie. Chris Dudley, and Wayne Shinsis comes off the bench, and again Shinsis did a nice job. Robinson for 3, yes. Ramil Robinson converts the three-pointer. The Cavaliers 47, the Nets 41.
One area where New Jersey has struggled over the last three quarters, if you think about it, is scoring points. If you go back to the last game, as Larry Nance comes off a baseline screen and hits a jumper. If you go back to quarter number 4, in the last game, New Jersey scored only 8 points in that quarter, and now only 38 in the first half, so 46 points in the last 3 quarters of play.
Coleman with the steal. Coleman sets up for 3 and hits. And the Nets have turned it around. They move within 4. Ramil Robinson with a couple of buckets. And now Derek Coleman off the steal. Cleveland takes a 20. Correction on the score. The scoreboard was incorrect. It is now 49-46, a 3-point differential.
Perhaps the message came across at halftime that you must become more aggressive. One of their trademarks in this series has been their defense, the ability to cut down on Cleveland's offensive productivity. On the inbounds pass, they come up with another steal, and the result, another easy look at the basket. This time, Coleman puts it down.
Nets have come out and outscored the Cavaliers 8-2. First minute 20 of this third quarter. So Lenny Wilkins taking the quickie 20-second timeout. Nets have hit their first 3 shots, including the three-pointer by Ramil Robinson. Nance. He has 13.
When the ball is being entered from that far out on the perimeter, you cannot stand behind in the low post. There's no reason for it. It's a most difficult area to try and throw any lob. Take away the post look, come around in front a little harder.
Petrovic having difficulty getting his shots. Elo. Robinson back. Nice move by Elo to free himself up.
And you said it, you hit it right on the head, because Drazen Petrovic knows he's having a problem getting shots off. He only had 1 shot attempt in the first half. He forced the last shot. They didn't need that shot from Drazen.
Coleman lost it. Good play by Williams. Mark Price. Yes. And that is his first field goal. His first shot attempt. Cavaliers 55. The Nets 46. Robinson with a beautiful ball fake, but not complete it.
That goes back to that mentality that Ramil had in Atlanta of shoot first, pass later. You're right, it was a nice ball fake. Unfortunately, nothing came good as a result of it.
Well, a 6-0 run by the Cavaliers, and they now lead by 9.
Mark Price, with only 7 minutes of playing time in the first half, had no field goal attempts. He hits his first one. The reason for it, Terrell Brandon, 5 out of 7, played very well for Cleveland.
Elo. Doherty on the ball, stripped by Petrovic. Elo tries to draw the foul. No call made, and Drazen Petrovic comes up with his first field goal. Drazen Petrovic, the Olympic point guard for Croatia, one of the best standstill jump shooters in the NBA. And that was only his first field goal. Doherty backs his way, and Mike Mathis with the call against Doherty.
Let's go back a moment ago for New Jersey. The good defense by Petro getting the swipe and the ball for New Jersey. Then down at the other end of the floor, a little acting job by Elo trying to pick up the offensive foul. It gives Drazen a clean look at the basket. He's going to make that one.
Second foul on Brad Doherty. Here's another look at it. Price for Elo. Oh, look out. That's a flagrant. Ramil Robinson very aggressively decking Craig Elo.
I think you're seeing the frustration in Ramil Robinson because of some of the easy layups that he's missed in the game. This time getting caught back once again defensively. There's no need for this. If you're going to foul, don't try and hurt him by pulling him backwards as he's taken off from the ground.
So Elo converting on the flagrant foul technical,
and this makes it easy. When you grab them up on the shoulder areas, they take off, pull them to the ground. It makes it an easy call for the officials to give them the ball back on the flagrant call.
8 points for Craig Elo, and the Cavaliers have settled down after that good run by the Nets to start the third quarter. 4 minutes have gone by, and the Cavs now lead 57-48.
So after the excellent start, Jersey's right back where they were, and Price that time an air ball, which very unusual to see Price miss the entire rim.
But as we discussed earlier, Mark Price has been having his shooting problems, 5 of 14 on Friday night, and then in game 3, he shot 2 of 12, and he's now 1 for 13 from three-point range. That's a three-point attempt by Robinson. Loose ball foul called on Mahorn. Let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marvin, speaking about Mark Price, I talked to him before the game. He said that thumb is bothering him, especially when he's shooting. It's listed as a sprained thumb, but he told me he has a torn ligament in it that he doesn't think is going to get well till next summer. He just has to play through it. Mark?
What about that injury suffered back in early March in a game against the Seattle Supersonics? He missed several games, then came back, had some shooting problems. Price this time goes through, and he's trying to get himself going. Chuck Daly calls for time.
Mark Price is not a guy that usually has a whole lot to say, but he knows he's been struggling. He needs something to get himself going. Maybe it's just talking a little trash for Mark Price.
The Cavaliers have extended to a 12-point lead. About 2 hours before the start of the game, Mark Price was on the Coliseum floor, warming up early. Assistant coach Dick Helm feeding Price the ball from every conceivable angle on the floor. Mark's shot has been way off, but showing some signs here. Three-point shooting. Cleveland now 1 out of 4, only 33% for the series for this normally excellent shooting club from downtown. Mark Price hitting that three a moment ago. Here is Petrovic. And Coleman with the rebound. Coleman thought he was fouled.
This is a big Cavalier front line. It's not easy to get a good look at the basket. It goes off of Derek Coleman's back. And as we notice, New Jersey struggling, shooting under 40% from the floor right now. Keep in mind the fatigue factor. These players, because of the injuries, have played a lot of minutes. Coleman has had 2 games of 48 minutes already. It could be catching up to him.
Shot clock at 1. And is able to hit. He now has 12 points. A 13-2 run by the Cavaliers. The Nets have missed their last 6 field goal attempts. The chant of defense. Robinson played on a switch. Mahorn is turned back by Nance. 3 on 2. And Price finds the jumper. Price surprised himself to be that open.
And also a little bit of hesitancy on his part, not willing to pull the trigger as quickly because of the injured thumb and the fact that he has been struggling from the floor.
Coleman off the dribble. What a shot by Derek Coleman. And then Mike Mathis blows the whistle. Rick Mahorn and Larry Nance having words. And Mahorn is being guided aside by Chris Morris. Now, Larry Nance is a player who rarely gets involved.
Larry Nance doesn't want to fight, and neither does Rick Mahorn, because if I remember correctly, he's the one that recently said if a player throws a punch, he should be suspended for a lot of games, not just 1 or 2 games. Make it serious, he said. Suspend him for 5, 6, 7 games. They won't do it again. Not if you hit him in the pocketbook. He does not want his pocketbook dented at all.
Mike Mathis over to the scorer's table. Personal on Mahorn.
And a technical foul on Larry Nance.
But a technical called on Nance. Drazen Petrovic will shoot the technical.
It just balances out the early technical against Derek Coleman. It makes it 1 apiece for each team.
Cavaliers 62, the Nets 51. Let's go back to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, that whole thing started between Nance and Rick Mahorn early in the third quarter when Mahorn gave Larry Nance a strong shot to the chest. I guess that was a little payback there.
And here's Nance. Rebounded by Coleman. The Nets now have missed their last 7 field goal attempts.
Drazen Petrovic with only 3 points in this game. He's averaging 17 in this 4-game series.
And Coleman will go to the line. Fouled by Williams.
Every once in a while, Derek Coleman takes it upon himself to try and do too much. He gets very frustrated if he feels that the other guys are not pulling their end of it. He then tries to really exert himself, and instead of helping, it can hurt the team.
Here's Coleman, strong drive. He has 15. Mike Sanders getting set to check it. Here's Price. Derek Coleman came up hobbling. Derek Coleman now handling the ball.
They were supposed to trap that last pick and roll situation. After the shot, Chris Morris looked back at his teammates, gave the signal of closing it down, trap on Price. It's Terrell Brandon. They go underneath the screen, not Mark Price.
Coleman launches a 3, a bad shot. And Elo took a check from Morris, and the crowd wanted a foul, but nothing called.
Replacing Hot Rod Williams.
Hot Rod Williams sits down, replaced by Mike Sanders.
Well, there's going to be contact if Elo steps in the way of Morris. Morris is entitled to chase the ball down. It's a block out. Doesn't matter where you block out, whether it's near the rim or on the out-of-bounds line. As you're watching the ball go out, you have to expect body contact if you step in the path of the opposing player.
4:47 remaining in the third quarter. Cavaliers lead 64-53. They're able to turn it around in the second quarter, outscoring the Nets 27-14. The Nets shooting only 7 of 22 from the field in that second quarter. Sanders pass picked off by Robinson. Petrovic had it knocked away. Quick play by Elo. Last touch by Petrovic.
Another transition opportunity for New Jersey, and another time that they come away from it without any points on the floor. So what does Chuck Daly do? He brings in Maurice Cheeks, the veteran point guard, a little more experience at running the show and making good decisions with the basketball.
And Cheeks now guarding Price. Price used the pick. Nance on the putback. Very strong game for Larry Nance. 15 points. Coming off a 2 of 7 in 33 minutes against the Nets on Friday night. Shifts to the fadeaway. He was hacked by Doherty. That's 3 on Brad Doherty.
Chuck Daly talked about moving the basketball more. They've gone strictly to isolations as they come down the floor. This time Coleman had nowhere to go. He gives it up to his teammate. Chinchis inside, hit on the arm as he goes up for the shot. Chuck trying to encourage his team to stay with it. Stay with it. We'll make a run somewhere, but you have to stop him at the defensive end.
Well, during his 5 games in the regular season, Wayne Chinchis went to the line only 3 times, hit all 3. Comes up 0 for 2 here, but Cheeks able to get to it. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 5th and deciding game. The Nets surprisingly tied at 2 apiece with the Cavaliers, coming off the stunning win on Friday night. Coleman, yes. Derek Coleman has gone all the way. Once again, he played 48 minutes in that 96-79 victory on Friday. Coleman has 17 points. The Cavaliers lead by 11. Nance wide open. Rebounded by Morris. That 17-point win, the largest playoff margin of victory in the Nets NBA playoff history. Coleman. Yes.
Larry Coleman.
And for the Nets, that was their first road win in the playoffs since back in April of '89. And they need a road win here today to survive. Lenny Wilkins takes a timeout. Cavaliers 66, the Nets 57, 2:56 left in the third.
We've still got two games after the Nets and Cavaliers have finished. The Knicks and Hornets will begin their best-of-7 series at Madison Square Garden. Here's a look at Doc Rivers warming up for the Knicks. A few moments ago, he had the big finish in the clinching overtime victory against the Pacers. And then another Game 5 as the Suns take on the Lakers. Phoenix trying to become the first team ever to lose the first two games on its home court and still come back to win a 5-game series. Right now, we go back to the Richfield Coliseum, rejoining Marv and Mike.
All right, Bob. And yes, this is the first of our NBA playoff triple header. They are on their feet here at the Coliseum, urging the Cavaliers on. The Chicago Bulls are waiting for the winner here. That series will open up in Chicago. Long rest period for the Bulls, allowing some of those minor ailments to get better.
So they're writing in the paper that just by going 5 games, it's given Michael Jordan a chance to get that ankle better, Scottie Pippen to feel healthy. But if you read the Chicago papers, Phil Jackson said a week off is way too much.
Mark Price with 9 points, so he has scored all of his 9 points in this third quarter. Derek Coleman has had the hot hand of the third with 11 of his 19 in the third quarter. And a foul is called off that change of direction by Maurice Cheeks.
It's called on Larry Nance.
On Nance.
It'll be a second.
That is 2 on Nance. Here's Hot Rod Williams. For Larry Nance, 15 points. 5 rebounds, 2 block shots for Nance. Morris, Coleman, and Shensis up front. Cheeks and Petrovic in the backcourt. Lazar Petrovic has been quiet, has not been able to locate his shots. Got in the early foul trouble. Not played much in the first half. Shensis, and it's tipped. A beautiful tip. A reverse tip by Morris.
It's the Nets' best offense right now. Get it up on the glass and give them a chance to offensive rebound and put it in.
Cavaliers 68, Nets 59.
Less than 2 minutes remain third quarter.
Just under 2 minutes left in the third. Elo for 3. Yes. Greg Elo has 11. It extends to a 71-59 Cleveland lead.
Granted, Drazen Petrovic is trying to recover from that knee injury, but it's tough to hide him defensively. When he guards Price, he hits a 3. When he guards Elo, he hits a 3.
Offensive foul on Cheeks.
Offensive foul on Maurice Cheeks.
The opening closes down quickly. The good position by Sanders takes away the drive to the basket. Chuck can't believe it. What else is going to go wrong this afternoon?
Mike Sanders with the ball. Sanders posting up, and a rolls to Doherty. Brad Doherty, 14 points along with 16 rebounds.
A technical foul has been assessed to Brad Doherty.
This is an attempt to clean up the players hanging on the rim. They are allowed to hang on the rim if someone is underneath them on the floor, and they are in danger of coming down and landing on another player. But to just hang when there's no one there, they're trying to clean this up. Mike Mathis makes the call, no one underneath Doherty. It's an attempt to stop backboards from breaking or get pulled down in some cases.
Cavaliers by 13. And a foul on Williams.
That was on Hot Rod Williams.
That is number 4 on Hot Rod.
The last 2 minutes.
During the season series, the Nets and the Cavaliers split 4 games, each team splitting at home. Cavaliers have won 15 of the last 16 against the Nets here at the Coliseum, 18 of 20, including the playoffs. This is a Net team that won 43 and 39 of the regular season. Injuries killed them down the stretch, and they lost 10 of the last 11. So they have surprised by making it to this 5th and final game as Coleman comes up short on that 3-point attempt. On the other hand, Cleveland with a 54-28 record in the regular season. Second in the Central, 3 games behind the Chicago Bulls. Cheeks off the steal. The NBA's all-time steal leader gets it down for Morris. Rebound Coleman. Now the crowd reacts. They wanted a technical call on Coleman for hanging on the rim. Coleman was hit with a tee earlier. The next would mean his departure. Down to 15 seconds. Remaining in the third. Cavaliers by 11. 4 on the shot clock. Price. And the putback by Sanders. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Morris from center court. Well, Brad Doherty lifting his Cavaliers. 14 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists for Doherty. And Cleveland leads by 13. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. The fourth quarter at the Coliseum in Richfield. Cleveland 75, New Jersey 62. The Cavaliers looking to wrap the series in 5 to set up another meeting with the Chicago Bulls. Brad Doherty has been outstanding. 14 points, 17 rebounds, which ties a Cavalier playoff record, and 7 assists. Brad Doherty considered to be one of the finest passing centers in the game.
I mentioned earlier that Chuck Daly feared the big front line of the Cavaliers. Well, right now, between Chris Morris and Derek Coleman, no free throw attempts for either one of them up to this moment right now, which would be the first opportunity for either one of those big guys to get some points on the board from the foul line. Big front lines tend to intimidate teams, tend to make teams turn into jump shooting teams rather than taking it strong to the basket. This time, Coleman rewarded.
Hot Rod Williams called for the foul as 5th. He will be replaced by Larry Nance. Correction on a statement earlier when we were discussing the possibility of a second technical foul called on Derek Coleman. I know you checked it with the official Mike Mathis.
Larry Nance.
Had he been called for hanging on the rim, which would have been a second technical foul, in that case it would not have meant ejection because it was not a technical for an unsportsmanlike act. So the Cavaliers would have been able to go to the line to shoot the technical, but Coleman would not have been ejected. There you have it.
Obviously, nothing needed by me to be added to that. That's exactly the case. It must be 2 unsportsmanlike tees to be ejected from the game. An official does not have to necessarily wait for the second one. If the first one is bad enough, you're gone right then, in his opinion. But for hanging on the rim, no for an offensive player.
And Mark Price has certainly picked it up. He has 11.
A little foul on the inbound pass, the smack on the top of the head as Jersey was inbounding the basketball. Craig Elo reached in and hit him on the top of the head. If you want to carry that rule a little bit further, if a defensive player hangs on the rim and blocks a shot as he's hanging on the rim, that is unsportsmanlike, and he will be ejected if it happens to be his second technical. So a little bit of difference.
We'll be looking for that play.
Yes. Yes, something I used to do quite a bit. Hang on the rim and block shots.
Illegal defense has been called for the second time against the Cavaliers. Drazen Petrovic spending much time at the line shooting technical fouls. This is his 3rd attempt. He hit the previous 2. Drazen only 1 out of 5 though from the field. Cavaliers 77 and the Nets 65. Cheeks and Petrovic in the backcourt. Shinsis, Morris, and Coleman up front. Coleman called for steps. Tried to set up for the shot against Nance. He traveled.
Nance is tough to get a good shot against because he has the quickness. He can back off you far enough to move his feet and stay in front of you. Yet those long arms and jumping ability, he can get up and challenge jump shots.
Shinsis with the rebound. Chuck Daly going with the veteran point guard, the 36-year-old Maurice Cheeks. And Cheeks able to recover. Shinsis. Morris again off the board. So Chris Morris has been doing it from inside. Some of his decisions with the outside shooting have not been good ones, but still effective inside. He scored 17 points.
Go to work on the offensive boards. If your outside shot's not going for you, make it happen around the basket.
Cavaliers by 10. Elo on the pull-up. And here comes Petrovic. We are early fourth quarter. 2 minutes have gone by. Both players go down. No call. That was a three-point attempt by Morris.
I don't think the 24-second clock had run down yet to have to hoist that one up.
Official timeout.
And a timeout has been called. We'll be back here at the Coliseum in Richfield in a moment.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment brings us here to Richfield Coliseum. A year ago, New Jersey met Cleveland in the opening game of the first round, and it was Drazen Petrovic hitting for a Nets playoff record 40 points. And a Cavs playoff record 40 also scored by Brad Daugherty. The Cavaliers went on to win 120-113, took the series 3-1 over the Nets. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. 9.5 remaining, fourth quarter. Cavaliers with a 10-point lead. Before the timeout, a foul was called on Petrovic. Nance able to get inside. 17 for Nance, and the Cavs lead by 12.
New Jersey trying to stay at home with the perimeter shooters, the deadly three-point weapons that Cleveland has from the outside with Elo and Price out there, but the big people getting high percentage shots and converting for Cleveland.
Eric Coleman with 25. Cavaliers 79, and the Nets 69. Eric Coleman coming off the 21-point, 14-rebound game along with 9 blocked shots. And he played 48 minutes. He's played all the way again today. Oh, what a play by Coleman. He got a piece of it. Recovered, though, by Daugherty. That's frustrating.
Petrovic had started to take off. Cheeks had started to leak out. The ball laid on the floor. Nobody could get to it until the Cavaliers picked it up.
Cavaliers by 12. Chest to chest with Petrovic. Coleman facing a double team. Rebound snatched by Nance. And Price had the pass deflected by Cheeks.
18 seconds.
A little bit of team defense from behind. A little piece of the ball that time by Derek Coleman. It lays on the ground. Daugherty with the conversion.
Good position. Shinsis unloads for Petrovic.
That's what Drazen Petrovic had been doing in the 2 wins against Cleveland. It's something that Lenny Wilkins reminded Craig Elo about time and time again. You must stay with him. He runs out and releases early on the shots.
Price, quick release. Sanders missed the tip. And here comes Coleman, battling with Nance, who's called for his third foul.
On Larry Nance.
When you get the forwards who have the ability to rebound and bust out and start the fast break, it's just that much more of an advantage for the team trying to get into transition. Charles Barkley so good at taking it off the glass, starting the fast break for Phoenix. That time you saw Derek Coleman, the power forward, doing it for New Jersey.
Cleveland committing its third team foul. Open shot for Petrovic. That was a rare sight, but he's off. He's 2 of 7. Nance on a pull-up. Sanders. And Morris with the rebound. Nets with an opportunity to get back into it. As Cheeks not able to hit, but again, it's Morris. And the crowd reacts, looking for the offensive interference.
If you think it's unusual that you see New Jersey playing pick and roll with Petrovic, the 2-guard, and the 1-man Cheeks, the reason for that, they're trying to get Cleveland to switch so that Price winds up guarding Petrovic. Cheeks in transition lays it up on the rim. If it's coming off on the way down, then you're allowed to take it and put it back in as Morris does. The officials felt that this ball has come off the front, was below it, therefore you can take it back up and over the top and in. Go back to Chuck Daly's days in Detroit when he used to play pick and roll with Joe Dumars and Vinnie Johnson setting the screens for Isaiah Thomas to get that mismatch.
The Nets foul on Petrovic. He has 4. Illegal defense is called.
Illegal defense. Timeout. Cleveland. Cavaliers timeout.
And Cleveland takes a timeout. 6:50 remaining, fourth quarter. 5 of this best-of-5 series that is tied at 2. Recapping Game 1. Cavaliers win going away as they hit 7 of 10 from three-point land. Game 2, Nets with a 101-99 victory here at the Coliseum. The Nets shot 55%, led by Derek Coleman. In Game 3, the Cavaliers do it 93-84 at the New Jersey Meadowlands. Cavaliers with a decisive edge off the boards. And in Game 4 on Friday night, that was the stunner. 79 points, a Cleveland franchise playoff low as Derek Coleman carried the Nets to the victory. So it has come down to this. The Nets are down by 8 with 6:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. Cavs have missed their last 5 shot attempts. Only 3 of 11 in the fourth quarter. Shot clock is at 8. And here's Williams. Offensive foul. Hot Rod Williams called.
Hot Rod Williams. That's his 6th.
And that is his 6th.
Excellent job that time of stepping up by Derek Coleman, not trying to block the shot. He felt he had gotten there in time. He held his position. He had Williams on the run.
And Derek Coleman is shaken up.
As Coleman gets there ahead of time, he establishes position. He's willing to take the contact. It's the elbow that hits him just below the bridge or on the bridge of the nose area. You've got to get it out in front of the rim. He certainly does that.
Timeout is called by the Nets. And out of Syracuse, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2 block shots for Coleman. Nets very much alive with 6:25 remaining. The Cavaliers lead 81-73. Cavs have led most of the way, taking over in the second quarter. And a foul is called on Nance.
When you pound the ball down low inside and are willing to draw the contact, you get the opportunity to go to the free throw line, something that Coleman and Morris did not get a chance to do in the first half. That time, Coleman, taking it strong, gets the opportunities now.
At one point, Cavaliers led by 14. They had a 62-48 advantage.
That play for New Jersey was designed to free up Drazen Petrovic for the outside shot or let him be the person to enter the ball. They are not doing a good job of freeing him up. At the same time, Gerald Wilkins paying very special attention to Drazen.
Coleman, 81% free throw shooting. And the Cavalier lead is down to 6. Cheeks reaching in for the steal. Maurice Cheeks, the NBA's all-time leader in steals, comes up with a big one. The Nets have scored 6 consecutive points. They're trailing by only 6. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the game. Nance knocked it away. Shot clock at 4. Shot clock at 2. Coleman, yes!
Just by showing the ball and Nance going for the ball fake, it allowed Coleman to put the ball down with his left hand and get a much better look at the front of the rim. The first time he had no shot at all. The escape dribble is what did it for Derek Coleman.
8 unanswered points. Here's Price. Doherty with the save. Sanders. Price Sanders getting inside off the save from Brad Daugherty to end the 8-0 run, and the Cavaliers have an 83-77 lead.
It's one of those big defensive rebounds that Dwayne Shinches could not come up with. Daugherty saves it, and he gives 2 points to Cleveland.
Shinches tried to back tap, and a loose ball foul is called.
Picking the pocket of Mark Price, Maurice Cheeks gives the Jersey Nets a chance to come up with another score. Then by ball fake, get him in the air, put it down. It gives a clean look to Derek Coleman.
Mark Price has to be very careful with the ball as he's guarded by Maurice Cheeks. Daugherty, gorgeous jump hook by Brad Daugherty, avoiding the block. He has 18, Cavaliers by 8.
New Jersey is trying to wait to the last moment, but they're waiting a little bit too long to come over and give help on Daugherty.
And Daugherty upset as he is called for that foul.
Foul is on Brad Daugherty. That's his fourth.
When Brad Daugherty gets the ball this low, this close to the basket, Coleman starts to come. Morris just misses the block, but it's a little bit too late. He's too much for Dwayne Shinches to handle. At the defensive end, he tries to get over on top side and get a piece of it. Probably was called for that left hand wrapped around the waist of Derek Coleman.
Derek Coleman has hit 5 out of 5. From the line, Daugherty picked up his 4th. Nance also has 4. Williams has fouled out. Coleman with 30 points. He has had another splendid game. 4.5 remaining. 4th quarter. The Cavaliers 85 and the Nets 78. Chicago Bulls are waiting in the wings. Price hits the foul. Shinches assessed his 3rd, and Mark Price, the NBA's best free throw shooter, will go to the line for the first time today.
It's not many times that Mark Price goes all the way to the basket for a score and a foul in the half-court offense. Most of the time, he penetrates and kicks out, or he's pulled up shooting jump shots.
14 for Price. All his points in the second half. And the Cavaliers open up a 10-point lead as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the game. Cheeks, he's been off. Rebound Morris. Chris Morris controlling the offensive backboard. 21 points, 12 rebounds for Morris. The Cavaliers 88, the Nets 80. Now Wilkins handles against Petrovic. 3:45 remaining in the game. Nance played by Shinches. Coleman on the rebound.
Chuck Daly trying to get him into a situation where he feels they have their best opportunity to score in case they're going to double team Coleman as they do to try and take the ball out of his hand.
Morris tried the 3. As well as Chris Morris has played inside with 7 offensive rebounds, and he's been able to convert points. Not able to hit the outside shot. The crowd urging the Cavaliers on. Daugherty backing Shinches. Cavaliers by 10. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Chuck Daly wants a timeout. Well, Chris Morris has done most of his scoring when he has either taken it to the basket or he's been able to convert on a putback. 21 for Morris with 12 rebounds, 7 off the offensive boards, and Coleman with 30 points and 30 rebounds. Cleveland 90, the Nets 80. Down to 2:45 remaining in the game. 5th and deciding game between the Cavaliers and the Nets. New Jersey with 2 and a 20 remaining in the timeout department. The Cavaliers with 3. Brad Daugherty has 20 rebounds along with his 20 points. Facing a double team, Wilkins. And Nance gets to it. But his pass picked off by Cheeks. 2-on-1, and Cheeks. Let's see, was he fouled or did he lose possession? Apparently, you're right now. It is being ruled the ball's deflected out. No foul call.
At the last moment, Cheeks was trying to decide whether to pass or take it to the basket. He lost the handle. Fortunately for New Jersey, the deflection off Mark Price. The ball goes back to New Jersey.
Now Cheeks sits down. Neil Robinson in the backcourt now with Drazen Petrovic. Petrovic, yes. And it's only his third field goal. He has 9 points. Cavaliers might even at 82, just under 2 minutes remaining of the game. First of our NBA playoff doubleheader here on, the tripleheader I should say, here on NBC. Nance able to hang and then hit. Foul committed by Dwayne Shinssis.
Nance uses the left arm for a little bit of protection that time to keep Dwayne Shinssis off him, takes the contact, and with one hand converts the shot.
Nance not able to complete the three-point play. Will be followed by the Charlotte Hornets and the New York Knicks in game number 1, and then the conclusion of the tripleheader as Petrovic hits again. The LA Lakers and the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix in the 5th and deciding game of that series. And the foul given by Robinson. That's over the foul limit, and it will send Sanders to the line. He's a 76% free throw shooter, and 4 of 4 today. Cavaliers now 10 of 11 from the line. That way off.
Cleveland has 3 full timeouts remaining. New Jersey, 2 full timeouts and 1 20-second timeout remaining.
So Sanders missing on both. Nets down by 8. Minute 15 remaining. 4th quarter. Morris. Nance with the rebound. Another key rebound by Larry Nance. He has 9 for the game. And Lenny Wilkins would like to use the clock a bit here.
As much as you can. Take it all the way down. Use the time up.
Here's Daugherty. 22 for Daugherty, along with 20 rebounds. Cavaliers by 10. Petrovic for 3. Look out. And a foul is called. Oh, Daugherty and Morris had some words. A little shove by Daugherty, and Morris took exception. That last foul called on Coleman. 37 seconds to go as Nance goes to the line.
The last couple times down, Jersey came right away and double-teamed Brad Daugherty. This time, everyone stayed at home. He's left in a one-on-one situation with Dwayne Shinssis, and he's one of the best in the league at back-to-the-basket moves. You get him 4 feet in front of the rim, he's going to convert most times.
Well, the Cavaliers have missed their last 3 at the foul line after hitting their first 10. The Nets take a timeout. Cavaliers 95. The Nets 84. Brad Daugherty with an exceptional game. 22 points and 20 rebounds, along with 8 assists. He hit 10 of 17 from the floor. He has been the key performer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at that stat line. Raphael Addison checking back in for the Nets. 37 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Cavaliers with a 95-84 lead. They have never been able to put the Nets away. It has been another gallant effort by this injury-hit net squad that has managed to take the Cavaliers to a fifth and final game as Coleman's three-point attempt was blocked. And the Cavaliers are headed to another meeting against the Chicago Bulls. Foul is given. Coleman gives the foul. For the Cavaliers, it has not been a strong series against the Nets, but now they hope to step it up against the Bulls. As you look at the playoff history between these two clubs, and Michael Jordan in the playoffs has averaged better than 38 points per game. Last year, Chicago won in 6.
You have to think that Cleveland, after taking the season series from the Chicago Bulls 3-2, feels now that they're past this first-round matchup with the New Jersey Nets, this could be what they needed. Maybe a little wake-up call for this Cavalier team. Winning the season series against Chicago was very important in that fifth game. So going into it, they've got to feel that they can play with Chicago.
Phil Jackson saying it's a real rivalry to the people of Cleveland. They boo us from the time we get off the bus to the time we walk off the court. Beating us has become a hurdle for them. Michael Jordan, though, uses that booing for extra motivation against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brad Daugherty receiving a standing ovation. 24 points, 20 rebounds, and 8 assists. Jay Gittinger has checked in, rookie from Minnesota Duluth. It was not easy for the Cavaliers to defeat the Nets. The Nets extend them to 5. The Cavaliers took a hammering in the local media as Coleman fires and hits the 3. He has 33 points, 7 seconds remaining. Cavaliers now lead 99-89, and a 20-second timeout has been taken by the Nets. Well, coming up here on NBC, Game 2 of the triple-header, the Charlotte Hornets, led by Alonzo Mourning, going up against Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks. Knicks took 3 out of 4 during the regular season, and then Game 5 between the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Lakers winning the first 2, and then the Suns coming back to tie the series. The Lakers startling the Suns by winning the first 2 of the series. No number 8 seed has ever beaten a number 1 seed, and that's what the Lakers are trying to accomplish. Now they've changed it to a full timeout. Well, the Cleveland Cavaliers can breathe a sigh of relief getting back past the New Jersey Nets, but now they have to face this man, Michael Jordan, who was held by the Cavs in the season series to 27.4 with 6 rebounds and just under 6 assists and 1 out of 12 from three-point range. Those are not normally Jordan-esque numbers against the Cavs.
Cleveland seems to pay extra special attention, as do most teams, to Michael Jordan, but he has punished them in the past, had some monstrous baskets against them to decide games. So going into this, and you mentioned hurdles, trying to overcome hurdles as Phil Jackson had there. Was it not the Detroit Pistons team that seemed to be the hurdle Chicago had to get past before they finally could go on and win a championship?
And now all the discussion, all the stories will begin once again. The questions about the Cavaliers, are they tough enough? Same questions that were asked of the Bulls before they were able to get by the Detroit Pistons. 99-89, Cleveland on top. You see time remaining. Derek Coleman leading the way with 33 points, 15 rebounds. Coleman called for the foul. His fourth. Chris Morris with 21 points and 12 rebounds. And Brad Daugherty with 24 points, 20 rebounds, and 8 assists. 20 points for Nance. Nance coming up with some key boards down the stretch. This is the rookie, Jay Gittinger, 6'10", out of Minnesota Duluth. During the season, 13 of 25 from the free throw line. Time running out. Morris could not find the shot. That will do it. The Cavaliers defeat the Nets 3-2 and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, where they will face the Chicago Bulls. The Cleveland Cavaliers with a 99-89 win over the New Jersey Nets. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Mark. Brad, before the game, you told me that you felt like you guys were ready, and just like pros, you came out and played very well.
Yeah, we had to come out and be really aggressive on both ends of the floor. There's a sense of urgency today. If we lost today, we go home, and we're a better basketball team than that. We came out, played hard, and did what we had to do.
I will not let you celebrate this very long. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I know it. Chicago Bulls, defending world champions. Got the greatest player in basketball. We're not going to get much practice, but, we're going to go play hard. We've got everything to gain. They got everything to lose.
All right, congratulations on your win today. Good luck in the remaining playoffs.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad, yes, there was a sense of urgency for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Brad Daugherty and the Cavs did respond to it. Final score, the Cavaliers 99, the Nets 89. Coming up next, what should be a spectacular Eastern Conference playoff matchup.